hi to there, guys and gals. As you can see in the background here, yep, we're working on the old mullet machine. Our test drives actually went very, 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 very successful. The if you're not hip to these cars, the gauges, I can't complain enough about the gauges on these. The oil pressure gauge still hasn't come, it ain't moving, it's staying exactly where it was, so I'll have to go back in there and pluck the gauge out of that one over there and put it in there. Anyway, that ain't our issue tonight. So we're driving in town and we hear something rubbing. Or it sounds like rubbing. So I'm like, man, where is that coming from? It's coming from right around this area. Now, what did we do? We put a 2002 WS6 Trans Am 342 gear ratio rear end in this car. Right? We kept our stock wheels. None of that's the problem. I just want a little dramatic. So what's end up happened is this here wheel bearing. Yep, she gone, she out. So the good thing is we was already in this thing once, so now we get to get it in again, tear all this back down, pull the wheel bearing out, you know, and do it again. So rather than have you watch me take off the tire, because I'm pretty sure you know how to do that, right? If not, you just, you know, take off the tire, take off the lug nuts right there. You're also going to have to take off this caliper. Let me get the flashlight here. You're going to have to take off your caliper and your caliper bracket, which is what it mounts to. And then you can pull off this rotor. Now, here's the even more gooder part. I already had that rear cover off. I had the rear cover off to, what did I do to that? I did something. Oh, I had to put the back there on it with the magic and stuff. Anyway, and we changed the fluid, remember? So the good thing is we've already been in this rear end once, and we just resealed it like, I don't know, a couple months ago. So we get to spend that money all over again. Now you can salvage it. I actually have a catch pan, but I decided to upgrade, I guess you would call it, to the old Royal Pepel whenever it comes to the differential fluid. And I'm pretty sure that's what I put in the transmission. I can't remember. Maybe I just put regular transmission fluid in it. Heck, I don't remember. But I know this is what I was wanting to put in it, only because I remember, like, they said, like, they did a dyno test, and I think that stuff actually increased the horsepower somehow. Like, that's how much non-friction. Yeah. So we went to our new favorite spot. You probably know which spot I'm going to say now, don't you? It's a spot that I've been going to for like the last on and off couple months, and so far, man, they have not disappointed. And I'm not sponsored by them at all. Met a really cool guy low there. Thanks, man, for subscribing. I appreciate it. They're really good people there, and you know, I've done videos thanking other stores of theirs in the past. So I want to say thank you to the Jackson area one, because you guys had both these bearings in stock. You had both seals in stock, and you knew how to type the word bearing and spell it. But that's another story. Hooked on phonics, just saying. So tonight, that's what we're going to do. But rather than you guys see me just unbolt stuff, you know, this, that, I'm going to wait until we get to the meat and taters of her. And I will tell you this, one little thing. It's going to cost you roughly $30 more to do that side over there. This side's already growling. That one has as many miles. Do you pick up what I'm throwing down? If you're going to do it, yep, somebody said it, just do it the right way. Go ahead and replace them both. You are going to need some specialty tools. There is one tool that you can get away with. This one here you don't necessarily need. I've gotten these seals out with a screwdriver before. This is a seal puller. You are going to need a slide hammer, which luckily I have. And man, that's a big, is that a bee? What is that? He's going to be a dead one, I'm telling you. Home run. All right. Yep, that's a wasp. That was a wasp. Anyway, so get on out of here. So anyway, that's what we're going to do tonight. I'm going to go ahead and get to cracking. I'm going to bust both of these things apart. Then we're going to lift the car up a little more so we can squeeze our drain pan thing underneath there. Take the rear differential cover off, and I'll show you what comes next, okay? So give me like, I don't know, 40, 50 minutes? No, it don't take that long. But just give me a few minutes, and we'll get right back to it, all right? So I forgot to mention, make sure your car is out of gear so you can rotate your ring gear around. Because you'll have to get it right here to this space, at least if you have a, you know, one of these type rear ends. You know, with the, it's really bright, isn't it? Okay, anyway, you're gonna look for this bolt. Should be an 8mm. I already broke this one loose. You can just thread him out of there and pull this pin. Let me do one more thing here. Speed up the old process. If I can find, yeah, probably can't. Yeah, there we go. Break it loose with a 6-point socket. I kind of gnarled this one up a while back. Whenever I tried to break it loose, it was really super duper tight. And yeah. So it, you know, it could be in better shape if I wouldn't have done that. This also has a factory Loctite on it, which I think is what kind of, you know, did the other part. Now, well, I guess you can just leave it right like that. That's not going to hurt anything. I'm going to pull that, and what this does is it actually holds in your axles. Okay, so we're just going to place this fella right down in the drain pan. We're going to pull this axle, and it's not even that hard to pull, I'm telling you. Hopefully you guys can see somewhat of that I'm going to do. So once you get it there, you just should be able to just wiggle it out. Give her a little, well, in theory, not that will fit, right? Oh, wait a minute. You gotta push it in, sorry. I forgot a step. It's been, I actually haven't pulled an axle on, did I pull the axles on this? If I did, I forgot this step. Just, yeah, sorry. I made a blooper just now. But you see, that's how you know this is like real and not, you know, made up and all that good stuff. Because I forgot, you gotta push in the axle and pull the C-clip. Which is the C-clip actually holds the darn thing in. That actually holds in the axle. I am a duty head. Yeah. So now, without further ado, let's try this one more again, okay? Hopefully you guys can see somewhere in here. Now, what you do is you push in, and that then pushes the C-clip out. And then, oh man, that's not gooder. That gnarled up my axle a little bit. That's not gooder. So I was 100% right. It is the axle bearing. That's real fine. I might try to take some real fine sandpaper and just maybe, oh golly, yeah, that really got him good, didn't it? I don't know if we can save that one or not. Golly, jeez. Yep, I don't know if that's actually even been replaced or not. That bearing may have actually even been replaced once. And I hate like heck to even say that, but I think it may have. So, unfortunately, I might have to just say we won't put this back in there like that. Yeah. That's not gooder. So something tells me we're going to be looking for an axle. What you're going to have to do is count the splines. Make sure you get the right number spline axle. Awesome. So anyway, we're going to count the splines on our axle. And we're going to replace this fella. Because that right there, 100% is our ground. And I am about 100% sure we're not going to get it out. So we're just going to count how many teeth these are right here. And we're just going to have to get on the old Evil Bay and look for one, maybe two, I don't know. Golly geez, man, that just stinks. I may try to sand what I can. I doubt there's any saving that one. That one's pretty gnarly, so. Oh well, it kind of is what it is on that, you know. I can't tell if that bearing's been replaced or not, so we're going to go ahead and replace that too. So let's just act like that never happened right now and go ahead and replace the seal and the axle just because. So to do that, this feller, right? We'll hook him in here just at the top. You're going to rip that seal. But what's supposed to happen is they're supposed to come out, you know, kind of easier-ish. And that's okay. We're just mildly frustrated that did get into that darn thing. We're hoping we can get an axle by the end of this week. Or by this week sometime, you know. But anyway, kids, this kind of thing happens. Not really a whole heck of a lot you can do. Grin and bear it. Golly jeez. Alright, so we may go to the screwdriver trick. I'm not even sure. So give me a few minutes to get this darn seal pulled. This is the actual tool for it. And it's actually called a seal puller. So let me try it with two hands. Maybe it might make it more gooder. But anyway, that's the way you're supposed to be able to pull it, is with the seal puller. Let me see what else we can find, and dang it. We'll go from there, okay? Give me a few minutes. Well, we've made it to the fun part of pulling the bearing. Now, like I said, you're going to need a slide hammer and the bearing puller. Now, the way this works is you take whatever one of these fits, push this part back, and you slide this through the bearing, and it hooks in the back side. See how those are? It hooks to the back side, and you boom, boom, hammer it out of there. I think I've picked the right one. So, we're going to give them an old college try and see what we got. Like I say, I can't really see you guys because I have an old, like number 8, is that 8? GoPro. So I threaded this part onto here. So we're just going to try to you see how that threads or goes in there like that? This one might be a little small, I'm not sure. Tell you the truth. Yep, again, never really did this too much. Oh, I'll bet that's supposed to go down. Bet that's supposed to thread like that. So you get all the force on it. So if that's how it goes, you know, we'll just see. I'm not sure. All right, come on, you. Oh, short's killing me. All right. Now let's see how that goes. Yep. Okay, so another thing you got to do is tighten that nut against the washer looking thingy there. She comes right out. Then you get your drain pan right underneath there because she's going to leak everywhere. But this fit pretty darn good right in there, don't you think? And unfortunately, I don't know if we'll be able to see. I'm betting this is a factory bearing. Just totally guessing. I don't really know. And the reason why I was guessing that is because it was a factory axle. Now, I don't really see too much gnarly kind of wear in there, honestly. It doesn't look bad. Somebody could have tried to replace this before and say, you know what? We're going to replace this. Actually, it has a seal on it. What's that say? Torrington? And on the ground. So whatever kind of seal that was, a Torrington or something, I don't know if that's the factory ones or not. But anyway, something tells me that, yep, that wasn't gooder. So we're gonna go ahead and put the seal and the other on in there because we already have it somewhere. There it is. We have our bearing and our seal right there. And we're going to put them in, and there's a little, if you don't know, there's actually a recessed, like, kind of lip, and that bearing will sit right there, and it won't go any further. So we're going to try to find something that is about the same, like, diameter, or close to it. Piece of wood, something. No, probably not. And try to put him in there just right. I think I might have a bearing drive tool, which would be ideal for this. And then you just kind of, I hope that's the right one. You know. Okay, well, I mean, I guess I can compare it to the other one since it's already out, can't I? But I probably need to wipe out that housing, clean it out a little bit. Probably be a good call since something has eaten up this axle. Wherever you went, there you go. So that's what we're going to do, and then we're going to drive this in with a driver, and yep. So just give me a few minutes and we're going to do that, all right? Well, we're absolutely buying an axle. Dang it. We have a 28 spline, which I thought we did, because that's pretty common on these 10 bolts, F-bodies, what have you. And I went ahead and drove in the seal and the bearing. And I did it with a little bit different type of, you know. Yeah, that's for my wheel balancer. But anyway, it does the same thing. This right here actually fit the bearing outside race without, like, you know, touching the bearing itself, so I didn't have any fear of messing it up. I also used it to put on the axle seal. So the sound it makes is like a nice metal to metal sound whenever it hits the back of the where it recessed in. And, you know, the front seal obviously sets flush. So, you know, there's that. So, that's where we're at on this one. Unfortunately, we are not going to be able to get this one done tonight. I'm going to see how quick I can get an axle. I'm hoping that we can get one like yesterday. Yep. If they got one on the Evil Bay, I'm clicking buy it now and send that puppy. I don't really know what happened. I don't know. But since we're this far apart, I am going to go ahead and bust this other side apart, pull that seal, pull that bearing, and we'll replace those two. It just doesn't make gooder sense to not replace it since we're here. And I don't want to spend another $110, which is what all that good stuff cost me over there, because I bought the better seals, the better bearings, you know, this stuff, royal purple, you know. If you're going to spend the money, guys, and this is, you know, this is going to be a fun / I want it to be dependable car. That's why we've went the full length of it. So that's where we're at. So I'm going to call it quit on this one tonight. I tried to sand on that thing with some 1500 grit. It is not putting a dent in it. So that's dead in the water. And we're just going to go ahead and replace those seals and all that over there. They do actually make a bearing driver that is actually very similar to what I used, but it has a handle. You do what you do. People use sockets. People do use pieces of wood because it doesn't, like, you know, mess up bearings and stuff that bad, I guess. But I have used wood as well, not gonna lie. But anyway, guys, that's enough for tonight. At least for you guys watching it, because there's no sense in you guys watching me do that side that's the exact same as that side. And you get what I'm saying. So wish me luck. We're going to get on here directly after we get done replacing that and look for an axle. I also measured the axle. I got 33.5 inches. That's from, I don't know where they measure from exactly. I might actually have to remeasure it. I just measured from the studs clear down at the bottom, clear up to the top of the axle. I've never replaced an axle. Just going to be honest with you, I never have. Until this episode. So, you know, there's another first. Anyway, guys, we'll be back at it, and, you know, we'll see how friendly it is to find an axle for one of these. Wish us luck. All right, guys and gals, so we finally, a week later, we have our axle. And this one came from a place called USA Standard Gear. And it was actually affordable. It wasn't too awful bad. I've already done the passenger side. I've already thrown it back together. So the only thing we have left to do, slide that axle in. I've already put the new bearing, new seal. We'll slide it in, throw our little brick in here, our clips, tighten that, slide this bolt. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't even see it. So we'll slide both axles in all the way. Actually, I already put the clip on that axle. Shove this axle in, put the clip on it, pull it back, put that little brick in there, line this back up, tighten her down. So we're getting pretty excited. Meanwhile, what we're going to do is throw on some good old sealer. And we bought some right there, looky there. High temp just for this stuff, huh? Got that from our new friends over at O'Reilly's. And that, I can officially say we're hitting the official love button on that one. Because those guys, every time I go in, they have what I want. And if not, believe me, they're getting it. They seem to have stuff that for some reason other parts stores just don't carry anymore. And it's not even, well, it used to not be rare stuff. It used to be pretty common stuff, but you know, like stuff for the old S10-age, which I gotta be honest with you guys. We're not going to do that build anymore because we sold it. We sold it for a good cause. And the cause is because it was going to get in the way of the Gold Chariot. You know, I had a feeling that if I kept the S10, one, that's another thing that's going to get in the way of me in the 69 and the 66. And we can't have that. We have to get, we don't have to, we desperately want to get this car done. So I parted with it because if you guys know about a little part swap thing going on, you know, Memorial Day weekend here in Ohio called Springfield. Yep, we're taking all that money and we're throwing it at 69 Camaro parts. And Mobile Junkyard just went by. Whew, oh my goodness. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is exactly what I just told you guys. You don't have to worry about greasing this. It already comes with some sort of slimy lube all over it. And it's going to get its lubricant from the differential and all that. I went with Royal Purple on this. I read somewhere like it's got some sort of magic that reduces friction and like it gives you more horse ponies. In a 305, we're going to need some horse ponies. That's where we're at with it. I also, this week, I tried my hand at wet sanding and buffing and all that. And I know you probably can't tell with it being so high up in the air. Yeah, and we put some decals on. What do you think of that? Huh? And we did one up here, eh? Look at that. Yep, crooked. That's okay. But we like I said, we like things that's different. We like things that's, you know, more gooder. So I'm gonna stop yakking, get to cracking, and we're gonna see. I'll let you guys see what it looks like when it's all said and done. I'll show you where to fill up the differential at. It's really easy. Actually, I'll show you right now. So all you need is this simple 3/8 ratchet right there without the socket. See that? Just bust it loose. It's regular, you know, regular thread, not left-hand thread. And then you just squeeze that stuff in there. Most of the time I use 3/8 hose, and I'll just cut the end of this off right here, just a little pinch, and squirt it in there. Now with this stuff here, I don't think I need anti-slip or posi traction modifier. See, it says it down there at the bottom. It says with friction modifier, or additive. If it doesn't say that, you're going to need it, okay? So if you don't, you're gonna notice your car's hopping around curves and stuff like that. But anyway, time's of the essence. It's still daylight. Let's get it done, all right? Give me just a few minutes. Now, we've got it all buttoned back together as far as the rear end. We put the cover back on it. As you can see, we tightened it down. We resprayed it because the paint was peeling off of it. Now it's installing the lug studs. How do you do it, you ask? Do you hit them from the back? Oh, wait a minute, we've already installed the axle. And besides, how would you do this on the car if the car was fully together and that's all you needed to replace, right? Pretty easy. You grab you a spacer, see that? That's our hillbilly spacer. Now, how do I know I got the right one? Can you see down in there? Can you see the outline of the lug nut lip there? See that? That means, one, she'll cover all of the lug studs. See all that space? And whenever this goes to tighten in, it'll pull it through. Now, I hear some of you say, won't that break the stud? No, it actually will not. It will pull it through just like it's supposed to. Think of this like a hillbilly stud puller. And you know you're flush, or you're good when you're flush. See that? That's one I've already done. Now, you may need to rotate this housing, this axle, to get it to a certain spot to actually slide that through. Some of these are tricky, and you can only slide them through the back. Some of them have a hole some certain place, so on and so forth. But you don't want to tighten this by hand because you're going to be there for a day or 12. So make friends with an air impact or somebody that has an air impact. Hit her on full go and let her rip. Now, what you'll want to do is watch the back side of it. It's going to move a little on you. And I'm rotating some of these out, it looks like. I was trying to keep them in just for, you know, I don't know why. And there we go. We are flush. Sorry if that was really loud. I had y'all pretty close there, I think. You may want to get what I call a sacrificial lug nut, because it might dig in there. This is actually doing really well. Usually I end up trashing one of these because I don't have exactly what I need. Tonight I just kind of lucked out, I guess, you know. The axle in this, on this particular model, and it would be the exact same for probably about any Chevy 10 bolt, I'm not sure. Some of these said, like the Yukon said right side, and it specified right side. I only compared this axle to the one I took out over there on the floor. And the reason why I'm using these studs over is because those have been, I didn't want to go ahead and knock them out through the front and then re-pull them through the front using this method, just because that's a lot of extra stress. And these suckers are cheap. I kind of like my car all intact, and it's worth like 10 or 12 bucks or however much these things were, to not have the quarter panel crinked and this dropped down, and really testing the insurance company and seeing how good that they are. Yeah, so that's where I'm at with that. So I was getting back to the axle. This one was called a USA standard, whatever I said in the beginning there. It looked good. It fit good. It fit tight. I had to take my rubber mallet and kind of like just give the old, that block bar that sits in between the axles, I gave it a little slight tickle, not much, and it seemed to fit really good. So, you know, I'm gonna say it's gooder. Everything seems really good in it. Like, you know, I don't know. Test drives, we'll find out, you know. But, oh yeah, forgot I didn't bolt that down either. Anyway, so that's how you do your lugs as well, because I don't know if anybody really tells you how to do those. I'll try to make that in the title, maybe, you know, help somebody else out down the road, like how to install a new lug for your wheel or something. I don't know, but it'll be in this video. So anyway, tell your friends, all that good jazz. But we're going to go ahead and button it all up, then I'm going to drop it down, and I'm going to show you what it looks like with the hockey stripes and the IROC Z on it and all that good stuff. Okay, so just give me a few minutes. Interior stuff, whenever we have so much daggone metal to do, and they have spring filled twice a year. So if we knock out the metal this year, get interior next year, we already have our motor. We're getting, I mean, honestly, yeah, we got a lot of work to do. We're dropping subframe on this. Yeah, we're replacing floorboards, and all kind of magical goodness. You guys are going to see just as well as I do. And yeah, it's going to be eventful. So stick around. And we're moving this puppy out probably right to there-ish. I don't know, we might keep it there-ish. Then we're going to tear apart the whole thing here. Move it out just this way a little. Move these parts everywhere and magical exhaust stuff. We got our work cut out for us. We're going to have seats, steering column, all kind of magical goodness. Just, you know, just laying everywhere. So that's that. That's next on the agenda. Stay tuned. It's going to get really good. thank you guys so much for keep on watching and subscribing. We've already passed last year's numbers, so thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Hopefully this content is getting to you guys and your guys are liking it, hitting the thumbs up. That does something with an algorithm or something. I don't know. Like makes it show up more times or something. It sounds good, right? So hit that if you don't care. Another thing, the Project Pony, we're still waiting on stuff for it. So, you know, we put like a lot of money back for this and like 300 back for that, for this big old swap meet. You know, it just is what it is. You know, I digress. Anyway, guys, till next time, keep tuned, and it's going to get a heck of a lot better, all right? And we'll see you guys next time here on Right Turn Garage TV. Y'all have a great weekend.